Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Medvinsky, and I want to pose the question, what if music ed? There's a hashtag on Twitter, what if music ed? And we're dreamers. We are the dreamers, but you know what? We're not the only ones. So I'd like to take a moment and kind of think about how to reinvent some of the things that we are doing in our classroom, but how we portray that to people who are wondering what's going on. Okay? The reason why you're here is we're all fantastic. The reason why we're here is the reason why I'm here. And that's for these folks. That's for these folks. Let us do it this way. I'd like to put up a slide of my kids as my first slide. Not to really tell you what it's all about, but to remind me why I'm here. Okay? It all comes down to them, right? It's the experiences we provide for them. All right? But I want to connect with some of the other people who spoke and talk about our image and how we're branding ourselves and who's telling the story. Okay? So these are my kids. I'm a general music teacher. All right? I don't call myself a general music teacher. I just rebranded that. I do the same things. I teach kids about music. We create, we compose, we perform. I just talk about it in a different way. All right? So these are my kids. We're preparing for PYP exhibition for those of us who are IT teachers. Okay? They're performing a song by Kid Rock. It was their choice. It was called Care. And there's a story that goes along with that about contacting Kid Rock and getting our video together and tweeting it and all that kind of stuff. He didn't get back to us. That's okay. That's all right. But we have to provide those opportunities, right? Who's telling your story? Here's one of my friends. His name is Toby. And he's just one of the students in my class, one of the students in your class. But they're all like Toby, right? Toby has some profound words to say. This is what music is to Toby. Other people can tell you what Toby feels, but if Toby doesn't tell you, then somebody else is telling Toby's story, okay? This was a project we did also for a PYP exhibition called Musician Statements. And all the kids took what they knew, they took selfies of themselves, mashed it with a pic collage app, made musician statements, uploaded it into a Dropbox folder, which then went on my computer. We put together a iMovie file. And this is what played as parents, community members, board members, other teachers from other schools, walked through the doors of our school, and this is what was playing. Each musician had a voice. And that one voice told their story. This person is not finished without music, right? I'm hoping not to make any enemies with this slide. My wife said, please tread lightly. So I'm going to tread lightly, okay? I dig Mozart. Mozart was like a punk rocker in his day, right? He was the one that was pushing the boundaries and making it all happen, right? And then some people got the notion that, you know what, look, let's put some headphones on people's tummies and all of a sudden we're going to have smarter kids because music makes you smarter. You know what? Music does make you smarter. But in a different way. Let's rebrand this, right? Music does make you smarter, but not because you're listening to music. It's because you're engaging in the authentic processes of musicianship. And oh, by the way, that connects to a lot of other ways of knowing too. But we're musicians. We are smarter, right? I have 3 children at home. My daughter's 9. She sings in choir, plays the flute, she's taking flute lessons. Tried guitar, it's too hard on her fingers. We'll try again and again. My son, he's 7. He's a percussionist, bass player. He got so frustrated that I took our bass to school. Papa, when are you bringing my bass home? I was like, honey, it's not your bass. You gave me that bass. Where's my bass, my amp? We played 1, 4, 5 together, and we're jamming, right? And I have a little one too. His name is Jude, and he's 4. And they're like the loves of my life, right? So I'm reading Medvinsky Bears, and we get to this page, and I'm like, man, I'm in Papa mode with my Papa hat on, and the kids, all snuggled together, but I'm always wearing my educator's hat too, right? And I'm thinking to myself, man, this page of this book sums it all up, right? So here's Mama Bear with her wheelbarrow, and they're all going down to plant some flowers, and they've been going down the same garden for a long time. And let's go plant flowers somewhere else. Well, I can't get the wheelbarrow out of the rut that we've created. Okay? We've created a rut. We've created a rut. We need some help pushing each other out. It wasn't until the cubs and the mama pushed together that they were able to get the wheelbarrow out of the rut and go plant flowers where they wanted to. Okay? They're still planting flowers. They're still being gardeners. They're just putting their garden somewhere else. Right? We're still musicians. We teach kids about music. We perform. We create. We compose. We just have to re-evaluate how to share that with people. And now the paradigm shift. I'm a general music teacher. But when I tell people what we do in my classroom, I call it musician's workshop. We're still creating music, we're still composing music, we're still performing music, I still have concerts for parents, I still reach the national state standards, I teach an IB program, we're doing the learner inquiry based, we're pulling on the strands of inquiry by student, I'm doing all of that. But when I talk to people, I call it musician's workshop because that's what they know. Writer's workshop, reader's workshop, math workshop. Why should we be any different? Right? We've done the workshop model first. We were the first people, but nobody called it that. Right? Our kids have always been creating, always been doing it, performing our music. Oh, now let's get our writers to write something, and now they're writer's workshop. We're musician's workshop. It's a paradigm shift, right? Young lady, general music teacher. Old lady, musician's workshop. We're all looking at the same thing. It's the same thing. But who's telling your story? I'm going to tell my story. Music makes you smarter. But it's not because we are listening to Mozart late at night that makes our brain fire with synapses and make us think better. Okay? We are smarter because we are connecting large concepts and processes across content areas. Okay? We teach things like interdependence and pattern and tension and release and form. Do these words sound familiar? Well, they also sound familiar to math teachers and English teachers, science teachers. Let's take interdependence for an example. When we talk about melody, there are things that work together to make a melody that wouldn't happen if they didn't work together. But you know what? Science does the same thing. There are these interdependent relationships, like the hippo and the tick bird, where the tick bird gets its food from the hippo's ears, and therefore the hippo doesn't die of disease. If one of those things isn't there, the hippo will fall over and die, or the bird will die. In Michigan, on Isle Royale, there are 2 species that live together and work together. There's a moose population and a wolf population. And sometimes the wolf eats too many moose. The moose population goes down, and therefore the wolves start dying off. When the wolves start dying off, the moose population comes back up, but there's this ebb and flow. We teach that. But the science teachers don't know that. The science teachers think, oh, you know what? We're doing this unit on interdependence. Can you sing a really nice song about the... Right? I shift the paradigm and say, you know what? That is so amazing that you're talking about interdependence, because so am I. When we sang this song and there are two lines working together, we have two melodies happening. Without the other one, it doesn't make the harmony we're talking. And then I start using our, musicians' workshop words, and they're like, ooh, yeah, tell me more about that. Can I do that? Yeah, you can do that. Not as well as we can. How am I doing on time? Great. I want to ask who's telling your story. There are many people telling your story already. Okay? There are parents who are telling your story. There is the newspaper, local rag that's telling your story. There are kids who go home and they tell a good story. Right? But our image is co-created these days. I'm glad we brought up this online presence, because you're not the only one telling your story anymore. Have you ever Googled yourself? I spent some time in my school district this morning talking to teachers about digital portfolios and your online presence and your digital footprint. I see somebody Googling themselves right now. It's awesome. If you Google yourself and click images, don't worry about the words for right now, but click images, you should be able to, other people should be able to know what you're doing and how you're doing it by the things that come up. Okay? If you don't know, if nothing comes up for you, please Google me, Michael Medvinsky, and see, there are a couple other Michael Medvinskys, right? Seriously, who would have thought, right? One of them's like a PhD, so I'm cool with that. Cool with that. But Google yourself and see, right? There is stuff out there, not stuff that you put out. Somebody came to your concert and did a review. Guess what? That's out there. Right? Are you going to let that person tell your story? Or are you going to tell your story through a YouTube channel? People fall down and get back up. That's human. We should share that too. Right? I appreciate that people just want to share their glory. I get that. But you know what? I look to other people to learn stuff too. Share your failures. It's how we grow from those failures that really makes it amazing. Let's grow it together. Okay? And here's my charge to you. Live out loud. Don't be secret geniuses. There are amazing things happening in your classrooms. I want to learn from you. Are you giving me the opportunity to? I have a Twitter account that's my own, my personal, professional Twitter account. I have a feed that's just for my classroom. And we co-create tweets together. Part of my district's IB, part of my district is making thinking visible, thinking routines. I took the headlines routine, which is the essence of what we're doing. Can we take the 40 minutes for me, or the hour and 6 minutes, or whatever you have, can we boil that down to 140 characters? What did we do today? Would that be telling? What do you think the musicians did today? It's different than what you thought they did. You know? Let's create that together. And then tell that story. Tell your story. You are the best ones to tell your story. You're the ones living it. If you don't